cannabis talk show that we do here every Friday on Pro Cannabis Media. I'm Jimmy Young, the founder of Pro Cannabis Media. Always happy to be joined by Josh Kincaid from the Talking Hedge out in Washington State and Doug Miller from New Jersey. Joining us now on our Zoom room are two dispensary principals. One is Rob DiFazio from CNA Stores in Massachusetts, and the other is Mitch Trellis from Remedy in Maryland. So we've got a Massachusetts and a Maryland going, and Maryland, now, Mitch, correct me if I'm wrong, you guys just voted that in, and were you one of the first to open your doors for adult use?
So we're not open for adult use yet.
Okay.
We actually, our adult use program officially starts July 1st. And we're still in the legislative period. There's a bunch of conversation right now being had in our legislature about the exact specifics of when and how we will be starting our adult use program. We believe it's going to start July 1st. Our legislators are adamant that we're not going to have a New York City situation on our hands. So we expect them to start sooner rather than later.
Yeah.
So we'll know more in the next 30 to 60 days.
Yeah, and I know Rob can talk about this. When Massachusetts first passed it at the ballot box, 2016, we know that there was a gray area going on of caretaking or whatever we called it back then. We could meet somebody in the parking lot and buy some.
We can't stand the gray areas. We don't like those.
I don't expect you would, and it happened in New York. You mentioned New York. I mean, we all know, if you've watched the news, what was going on there. I just find it really interesting from how each state handles it and the rollout of the legal industry. And I think Edmund used the word deliberate. Mitch, do you expect it to be deliberate?
No, I think it's going to be the opposite of deliberate. I think that the new leadership in our state, we have a new governor. He's very intelligent. He's very business minded. And I think that he sees this as what it is, which is very, very low hanging fruit. You know, we have cards right now. We have medical marijuana cards. Yep. You can literally substitute that card for a driver's license and everything else is the exact same. So not turning this program on right now, it's all nonsense, right? If we truly want to do the will of the people, then we would turn the program on July 1st. That's what everybody voted for. Nobody read the fine print to say it's going to be a year or two later. You know what I mean?
Right.
Well, yeah, but so, as you know, with anything in government, it doesn't go fast. You know, when I was in the Navy, it was hurry up and wait. You know, there's a line, you go stood in it. You don't know why, but you didn't want it to get long because you didn't want to be at the end of it. But in here,
so have you noticed that the last couple states have either gone fast or been unsuccessful, right? So our peer is Missouri, and Missouri intends to start in February, right? So the most successful state up to this point, especially from a tax point of view, is Arizona, and Arizona started in 90 days, right? So it's like the longer you wait, the more likely you are to have a gray market or a non-regulated white market, and that's not what anybody's looking for.
No, and I think the big thing you're going to see is it all depends on how far they are along with their medical market, right? Because that's an easy switch to flip.
That's
our
medical market did about $660 million in sales last year.
Yeah.
Right. So we have 100 dispensaries.
So Arizona, what Arizona did, and we all know this, I'm guessing if we follow this, is immediately allowed the medical dispensaries to turn into adult use as well in Arizona. And that's how they were able to get it done in 90 days.
That's the conversation here as well.
Yeah, that's what's okay. Good. Well, how many, do you know how many medical dispensaries there are in Maryland?
102.
102. Do you have a cross state? In other words, if I came down there with my Massachusetts card, does that give me admittance?
We call that reciprocity, and they do not have reciprocity in the state of Maryland.
Okay.
Yeah.
So because we're so close to DC, they were always worried. It's actually written into the law, but they were always worried that that would incite the feds.
Yeah. Well,
once it becomes legal for adult use, it's anybody.
No concerns at all. Exactly right.
So.
And Maryland's a unique state.
Yeah.
There's a point in Maryland where we're touched by 5 different states at one point.
Right.
What is it? You can touch 5 states in 15 minutes of driving at one point in Maryland. So.
Yeah.
So Maryland, we have access to a lot of different places, and Maryland's going to be an epicenter of cannabis in America.
I love that. And I love that there'll be a little bit of a weed battle up and down the East Coast now. You know, Massachusetts was first one in, right, Rob?
Yeah, they won't beat us. That's okay though.
Oh, don't take it the wrong way, Rob. We're about to kick your teeth in, my guy. Don't worry about it.
I love good competition. Josh or Doug, if you want to jump in and ask either one of these guys a question, have at it.
Yeah, I'd like to know the difference, Rob and Mitch, between the two. I'm looking at Headset's data from last year, and it looks like Massachusetts for the entire year of 2022 pulled in about almost 1.5 billion compared to Maryland's almost half, $500 million. So Maryland's pulling in $1 billion more. What's you guys' opinions about why? Is it just more stores? Is it people coming from out of state?
Mass is rec and Maryland isn't.
Yeah,
Maryland's medical and Massachusetts is rec.
Right.
So there'll be a huge, and this is what Nick, Mitch, you're gonna see in Maryland is, as it opens for rec, you're gonna have a huge supply problem, because depending on how you guys are getting all that and how they regulate that, like in Massachusetts, if you had a medical license, you had to grow one room for medical product. Whereas if you wanted to sell rec, you had another room for rec. Then they realized how
insane that is.
Insane that is. They just said, hey, you know what? As long as it's tracked and you have a license, whether it's a medical license or a recreational license, we can track where that product goes.
So we actually have just like most of the country, we have an oversupply issue in Maryland, because while we have a limited number of growers, 18 to 20, they have an unlimited amount of canopy space. So the average grower in Maryland has about 150,000 square feet of grow. So right now it's
square foot or canopy?
It's square footage.
Okay.
So like what the numbers that I can throw out at you are all anecdotal, but you know, how do you store weed? You blast it, right? You make it into oil. We believe that there's kilograms and just massive amounts of oil stored in the state of Maryland. Like when rec comes, there's going to be hundreds of thousands of vape carts available in the state of Maryland. The capacity in Maryland is very, very high. So we just don't see that happening. At the same time, we've built a model where we have partnerships with the brands, and the brands have store within a stores inside of our stores. And so it's like a Nordstrom's model. So one of the things that we're able to do is, you know, it kind of ensures supply, because those suppliers don't want their store within a stores, which basically act as extra storefronts for them, to not have supply. Right. So for whatever weed is around, should theoretically go to their stores first and then to our store next.
Yeah. Question. So
can Mitch, go ahead, Tim.
Oh, sorry. So Mitch, you don't grow in-house everything in Maryland?
No, we're not vertically integrated. Nope.
Okay. Is there any dispensaries?
Say again?
Are any of the dispensaries vertically integrated that can actually grow?
We have a bunch of MSOs in the state of Maryland and a couple of local vertically integrated dispensaries. But again, the price of the weed has dropped about 65% in just the past 12 months. What we were selling for $60 last year, we're selling for about $25 this year.
Right. And Rob, you guys in Massachusetts are going through the same thing.
Of course, same thing. We're all going through the same thing, man. They took all that money out of the stock market. They used it to build giant grows, and they're all overbuilt.
So what you're going to find is it's going to happen just like it did in Portland and Seattle, where they've got these massive grow facilities, but they don't have the distribution chain. So being vertically integrated like we are makes a huge difference. So you get into I've got 3 stores that I can supply from my 20,000 square feet of canopy. So
totally,
that's a good amount of product that I can leverage. But like Mitch is saying, you partner with other dispensaries that maybe don't have or do have a grow facility, so that the biggest thing when you look at a store, it's like when you go to a liquor store, right? You don't go to just a Budweiser store or just
exactly right.
You don't go to a Bud Light store.
I say it all the time. Nobody shops at the Frito-Lay store.
So when we first opened, we thought, hey, 6 cultivators should be able to provide us our product. And within the first month, we almost ran out of selling 8s and pre-rolls, because that wasn't we couldn't get enough of it.
You need some from everybody.
Yeah, our demand in Massachusetts outweighed the supply significantly. Now, like Mitch is saying, all these big companies came in and started building these big sites. And what's happening really is there's a lot of smaller cultivators in Massachusetts that are going out of business or needing capital. And what they end up doing is they end up basically giving away 95% of their business so they can stay alive. And it's because they maybe run into mold problems and they don't have an extraction system to where they can mitigate that, or they just don't have the supply chain or the distribution chain set up yet. So they're growing it, and like Mitch is saying, they're just putting it into distillate because that's the easiest way to keep it. You know,
I was going to ask, what's the storage, what's the shelf life of distillate versus flour?
You can let, first of all, we don't call it distillate, we call it hot dog water. So the shelf life of hot dog water could be, who knows, depends on how nasty you are.
Yeah, but no, it's good for a while. You know, and the problem though is anytime we make a product in Massachusetts, it's got a 1-year expiration date on it.
Exactly.
So it's not like I can take all my flour and make distillate and wait 3 years and then put it in a vape cartridge and go. As soon as I make that distillate, that clock starts from an expiration standpoint. As soon as I make a concentrate, it does that. So that's where it's got to be critical. And this is where you might see a lot of companies going out of business because of the fact that they built too big. Just like you saw in Seattle, where they had these massive 200,000 square foot facilities that they built out everything. And, you know, it's the Field of Dreams effect, right?
This is another reason. What you're alluding to is another reason that I believe we're going to go fast in the state of Maryland, because underlying is the fact that rec can save a lot of local businesses in Maryland.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, a bunch of people have spent a lot of money and got themselves in very tough positions, and rec, it absorbs all of the available supply.
You guys both can learn a lot from Washington. You're not going to have 400 tomato farmers, but I don't think you're going to be able to compare it to alcohol industry, but rather more of the tomato or coffee. So with, you know, Washington State is the world's leader in hops. So we grow this one hop and then everyone makes their own beer from it. You're not going to have that in the cannabis industry where one manufacturer grows cannabis and then we all make product from it. It's going to be more like tomato farmers who are at the grocery store. That's a collective of really small farmers that come together and provide one commodity, just like coffee on a global scale. So I think your shift will come way down. And if you look at the average basket price in Washington, we're only paying $32 on average when we go into a store. In Massachusetts, people are spending on average $72. Maryland, they're spending $97.
So that depends on the tax. So that's really, if you look at our average cart, like our average cart's about $65, but that's with tax.
And we have no tax. So ours is exactly what you said.
Yeah, we have the highest tax in the whole country, and yet we have the lowest price because of the convenience. You go and buy what you want when you want. So why is it that in Maryland you guys are spending, you know, $97 on average, and in Massachusetts it's only $72? What is
because it's medical.
It's number one, it's because it's medical, and number two, because there is still a.
But what does that mean though to the audience? What does that mean? If you're medical, you buying more, or is it more expensive?
It's more expensive. So despite our oversupply, our base price is still higher, right? Because we don't have the number of growers. At the end of the day, there's still only 18 growers here that I can buy weed from. Versus you have, correct me if I'm wrong, what, 1,000, 800?
We only have like 500 now. It came way down.
You used to have 800 and now you have 500, correct?
It was like 1,500 at first. Yeah.
This is exactly my point.
So the reason why it is higher is because when medical patients come in, they usually buy a higher quantity for the month, as opposed to, and someone might come in, Mitch, you might be able to talk to this more, but your price also is being controlled by the 18 growers. So he's buying it wholesale. They're setting that price. And
to a certain degree, yes. Especially the higher quality products and the manufactured products, right? So at the end of the day, my guys, I don't have people in the state that sell high quality gummies for the cents on a dollar that they do in a place like Washington, right? So if I want the high quality gummies and I live in our stores are more premium stores. If I want the higher quality products, I'm still, like you said, I'm going to pay a certain price because that's the base price, right? And listen, that's how a lot of these businesses are surviving right now, right? So they sell flour at a loss or at break even, and then they make money on their manufactured products. And listen, like you said, a lot of people are going out of business right now, or a lot of people are literally selling weed for less than they grow it for cash.
They're trying to keep the doors open, you know, and you saw that in Washington, but really here, when it comes to what we're seeing is you've got people coming in that have these massive grows. They have their first harvest. It's not the greatest of weed because it's their first harvest.
Of course.
So what happens is, you know, they try and sell it for that premium price and nobody wants to buy it because they can get better, higher testing THC, better quality for a cheaper price, more consistent price. And then what happens, they get stuck with this glut. So either they extract it all and go super cheap on gummies or edibles, or they just sell it at a low price. And you've got your, you know, your $15, $20 eighths at that.
Yep.
So,
and then we have, you know, in Maryland, we have one of the larger light depth warehouse greenhouses on the East Coast. So we have, you know, a couple growers who have a really low cost to produce. And now they're into a point where like, this is what they're built for.
Yep.
You know what I mean? When your cost is 45 or 50 cents a gram, you're built for $15, $20 eighths. That's what you're here for. You're here to squeeze the shit out of everybody else when you're making money.
Well, and that's the part, like we built our cultivation site in phases. And so we built out 20,000 square feet. We got another 40,000 square feet that we can build out, but I've got to build up that supply chain. And everybody, when they jumped into this industry, thought, hey, I can sell this much. I'm going to make as much as I grow, I can sell. It's like
not true.
Like the field of dreams, build it, they'll come, right?
Yep.
And you got to actually apply that whole, you know, business model to it to some degree to get that supply chain, slowly grow and build as you can, try and minimize your costs. Like our entire facility is all about efficiency. You know, we use water cooled LED lights to reheat the air as we dehumidify it and send it back in to bring the temperatures up. We recollect all our condensate and reuse it. So a room that normally takes 600 gallons a day, we only end up we reclaim about 90% of that and then just add 60 gallons more to top it off. So when I got 10 grow rooms going at 6,000 gallons a day, instead of using 6,000 gallons of water every day from the city, I only use 600 because I'm recollecting all that condensate. I'm not just putting it down a drain. So everything we've done all the way to the point where our stems and stock and waste material, we're working with the University of Massachusetts to come up with a hemp-based plastic and cardboard material so that we can actually repurpose our waste and making our own packaging. Wow. So we got to look at things. You got to be prepared because history tells us, you look at Colorado, you look at California, Portland, or Oregon and Washington, all the states that are open before us, that you're going to get price compression and you've got to be ready for that.
It's a fucking weed, man.
It is, but it takes money to grow, right?
No, but at the end of the day, right, it does not take a lot of money to grow it shitty. It takes money, time, expertise, and genetics to grow it well.
Yep.
Right.
And that's the thing. And that's when you look at, I always try and compare this to alcohol. People are like, you know, you can buy well vodka all day long, you know, and when we first turned 21, we were looking at the highest alcohol content of what we bought. So we're sometimes drinking grain alcohol thinking we're great, right? Then you get older and you realize that, hey, that's not really what I like. I want a Whistling Pig, or I want a Grey Goose vodka. I don't want the well vodka. And that's where you've got to focus on quality from day one. And that's how everything about us is driving that quality. Because, you know, Sam Adams sells a lot of beer. And I use Sam Adams because I'm from Boston and I actually like it. But when you look at Budweiser, they got a bigger operations. But when Sam Adams came up, they were doing it here in Massachusetts and they focused on quality. And that's what you got to really get in.
Let's run all the way back to the beginning when he said Massachusetts was going to beat Maryland. You ready?
Yeah.
I didn't say that we were going to.
Here's what I believe. You ready? He just spent a bunch of time. He just spent a bunch of time talking to me about efficiency as a grower, right? And I suspect that a whole bunch of his day is spent. And by the way, more power to you. But thank God, I thank God every day that I didn't win all 3 licenses because I don't want to be a farmer. I'm a retailer, right? And you want to know how efficient I am? I'm so efficient that I don't have a grow.
Yeah.
I have great relationships where no matter what, I have the best selection and the best prices and the best relationships in the entire state. And I also have, you know, everybody overbuilt. So I actually have my own grow rooms inside of some of the growers so that I can bring my own genetics and I can basically do some of the things that you're able to do without the truth is without the risk. And while my downside is smaller. My upside is smaller as well. But remember, I'm a retailer. What I'm looking for is uniqueness. I'm looking for strains that a lot of people, exclusivity, things that drive sales, right? Things that drive traffic. Because at the end of the day, I want to be Total Wine. I don't want to be Seagram's. I don't want to be Budweiser. I want to be Total Wine.
Everybody can do what they want.
No question. And there's different places. There's different places for people. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Can I talk to you guys about those sales? Because it's 2023 now. So I kind of want to take a look at 2022 as well as 2023 and beyond and see why your sales are the way they are. In Massachusetts, again, looking at this headset data, in January of last year, you had sales that were 48% increased year over year, and then that significantly
We're
dropped.
down 25% across the board.
Maryland's even worse. Maryland on average had a
crushed.
-5% per month year over year decrease. Why is there a difference? Were people
Price
going
compression.
outside of Maryland?
Price compression.
That's because there's only, well, you only have 18 people you can buy from. I can't see that as price compression because unless you've got way too much supply.
Because if there's
we
5
have
other
way
states
too much
coming
supply.
in and now they're not coming in and they're going somewhere else,
Last year
that
I
could
sold an
explain it
eighth for
too.
60, and this year I sell an eighth for 30. That's price compression.
Well, you're also getting more competition. So like here in Massachusetts, a good example for our Haverhill store has gone down about 5% per month for the last 3 or 4 months because another competitor opened up in our area. So there are a lot of reasons for that. You know, you look at like Maine's got a pretty strong market that's near us. Connecticut's going rec. Rhode Island's going rec. New York's going rec. So it's eventually people are coming to see us over the border states. Like we're right near New Hampshire, which is great because New Hampshire won't go legal recreationally until it's federally legal, and they'll control it like they do with alcohol. You can't buy any alcohol unless you buy it from a state liquor store. And all they're going to do is just make more shelves in there, and then you can buy cannabis from them. So for us, that's going to take a while, maybe 2-3 more years. I mean, from a retail standpoint, Mitch, you know, the biggest issue as to why we went into cultivation was for 280E tax purposes.
Right.
It allows us to actually keep some of our money instead of give it all away to the government.
You think I was criticizing? I'm not criticizing. The truth is, I have no desire to be a farmer. When I go to these people's grows, right, I'm not excited about that. I'm excited about retail. Like we've built 10,000 square foot stores with unique experiential experiences and secret doors that go to VIP rooms. And like, I'm trying to be the best retailer on the East Coast. I have no desire to be a farmer. And that being said, right, you know, I have a lot of relationships. I have access to a lot of genetics. So I want my genetics in this market because the weakest part of our market is definitely the genetics. And I'm sure you know that a lot of the genetics that are the best in the world are controlled by people who aren't related to corporations, right? So accessing those genetics for the larger multi-state organizations, it's basically impossible. So what we have is a country full of people who are growing mids.
Hey guys, I think the two of you should have your own show. I'm just saying. I thought that was by far the best half hour I've had to do in a long time since I didn't have to do much. But Rob, tell us where the locations are of the CNA stores. Go ahead.
Haverhill, Massachusetts, 558 River Street, and then 77 Macy Street, Amesbury, Massachusetts. We have a third store that'll be open this summer in Boston, right down by the JFK Museum. So,
oh, cool! Right outside UMass Boston. That's awesome.
Yeah,
I love that. Hey, Mitch, Remedy. It's in Columbia, isn't it, Merrill? Where are you?
We have two remedies. We have Remedy Columbia is 8865 Stanford Boulevard. We just moved into 10,000 square foot superstore. It's amazing. And then we also have a store in Baltimore. It's actually in Security off of the 695 at Security Boulevard. So yeah, we have two stores, and then we're working on a third as well.
Fantastic. Well, Rich, again, thanks for such short notice. Tess Woods does a great job, so I really appreciate that.
It's my pleasure.
Rob, always a pleasure to talk with you anytime. And
Rob, good luck with everything.
Thank you, guys. And we're going to take a break and come back on the other side, and I'm going to unveil what the top 5 news stories were in cannabis according to our viewership, okay, in the next half hour. Don't go away.